have a tendency to live kind of full out. And most people don't expect that of people with disabilities. I think they see us as very limited. And I don't see myself as limited. I mean, certainly I have to live my life according to the parameters of what I can do. I mean, I can't walk by myself. I'll tell you one of the things that I haven't yet learned how to handle, and that is when, say, I'm at the market in my scooter. And people, I mean, they mean so well, I know they do. And they'll come up to me, strangers mainly, and say, "Oh, it's so nice that you can get out." Well, you know, I traveled to Beirut, Lebanon by myself with my scooter. So going to the market is not a real big deal. And I have a problem not getting a little ticked when I hear that kind of thing. And so, you know, I'll generally just sort of smile and say, well, I really do get out a lot. Actually, I probably get out a lot more than they do. My first electronic music festival was in 2005. And my friend Pat and I love to go to festivals in Detroit. So this was one we hadn't been to yet, one of the few that we hadn't been to yet. And so we went down, and I mean, we went into it and it was filled with young people. We were by far the oldest. At that point, what would I have been, 60 something? And it was unbelievably loud. Unbelievably loud. Even, I mean, not if you didn't even have to be at the stage area, just in the Hart Plaza, walking around. We could not do it. And so we looked at each other and we said, okay, what are we gonna do? So we went across the street to a hotel and bought earplugs. Thank God they had earplugs. I mean, I was in my scooter at that point, but as I can do now, if I stand up and hold on to either the handle of my scooter or a barricade, then I can boogie down pretty good. My feet don't move, but everything else does. So Pat and I just loved it. And the kids were, I call them kids. I mean, I call them kids, and I have to tell you I'll be doing that, because to me they are kids, even though some of them are in their 50s, I'm sure, maybe 40s, but mostly teens, 20s, maybe early 30s. And they loved that we were there. They kept coming up and wanting to take pictures of themselves with us and just saying, oh, it's so good to have you here, and you know, do you love this music? Well, I didn't know electronic music at all, but once I got there with live DJs, it was like, this is really cool music because it's great to dance to, and I love to dance. It's a great bass beat, and I love that. I remember leaving that first, it was evening by the time we left, and I remember someone was doing like a survey, and they said, so what do you like best, house or techno? Duh. I said, I don't know. I didn't know there was a difference between house and techno. I didn't know what house and techno was. I mean, now I can give you grid, I can give you trance, I can give you dub, you know, all of it I know now, but it was pretty ignorant, but I loved it. And so I just kept going back every year to this festival, which is always Memorial Day weekend. And I think by the third year, I was there all 3 days because it's Memorial Day weekend. And I just stayed from noon to midnight the whole time. And that's the way it's been now. 2012 was my 8th festival in a row. So I'm kind of a fixture. The way I often deal with stress is by ignoring it. And so even though I was diagnosed with MS, the primary progressive, chronic progressive MS in 1988, and it did just slowly progress. So, you know, first I used a cane, then I used a walker, then of course I'd always decorate these things because I'm an artist. So I had my wind chime walker with wind chimes on it and crystals and all that stuff. But by the time I got to the scooter, there was no ignoring the fact that I was quite disabled. And yet, I still didn't really let myself feel what I was feeling inside myself. I just kind of went on about my business and just pushed the envelope as much as I could and did what I did. I'm kind of gonna do my thing. I guess I've always been independent-minded and my own person. And the older I get, I'm 70 now, the older I get, the more independent and my own person I become. So you know, really, I just go ahead. I just go ahead and do what I do and let people take it the way they take it, and if they can accept it, great, and if they can't, then that's their problem, not mine. When people would ask me my name, you know, I'd say Patricia, that's my name. And I remember it was, I believe it was 2007, so it would have been my third festival. The young people always were great about letting me get up front because I need to hold onto the barricade to dance. And with the scooter, if I'm in the middle of crowds, it's just not fun. So someone would always kind of lead me up and the waters would part and there I'd be. And so I was up there, but I'd been at this particular stage, I was at the Beatport stage, and I'd been there for hours, and there was someone else I wanted to see. And it was in the middle of a set and mix, and so I asked someone who was beside me, this kind of big guy, I said, would you help me get out of here? Which was a trick because it was mobbed, you could barely move. And he said, sure. So he started going through, and there was this voice, this man's voice from the back. And all of a sudden he said, Grandma Techno wants to get through, let her through. Well, everybody started clapping. It was hysterical. And then they all start yelling, Grandma Techno, Grandma Techno. And again, the waters just parted and I went through. And you know, from then on, of course, things go viral. And you know, then I was on YouTube and everybody, I don't know, I just became Grandma Techno. I love that name. That's my favorite name, actually. I mean, when the young people now at festivals say, well, you know, what's your name? I'll say Grandma Techno. Well, yeah, but what's your real name? I say, that is my real name. That is my name. That's who I am. And I am. I mean, I am Grandma Techno. And I consider it a tremendous compliment and an honor to be Grandma Techno. I mean, in a way, I just feel like I never had kids, so I never had grandkids. These are all my own grandkids, or my own kids, depending on the age. But I feel like we're family. And so to have them come up and call me Grandma and give me hugs and kisses and, you know, oh, they're so dear. I mean, they come up to me, hundreds and hundreds of them, come up, hug me, kiss me, say, I love you, Grandma Techno, I love you. It makes me so happy to see you here every year. I want to be just like you. You know, I mean, they're just, God, talk about making you feel good. These kids just make me feel like $1 million. So I love it. I love Grandma Techno. She's my favorite persona. I go to the festival because I love the festival. I go to the festival because I love the young people. I love the music. So I'm there as a festi goer. That's the reason I'm at festival. I am a photographer. And so, you know, all the years I've been going, my camera, I mean, that's one of the things that's nice about being disabled. You know, I'm in my scooter. I've always got my gear right here with me. So it isn't like I have to carry it specially. And so I always take pictures. I mean, I have one portfolio on my website that the title of it is, I hear with my eyes. And in a way that's true. I mean, to feel as though I am truly present in the moment, someplace, or with people, I have to have my camera. I'm not always taking pictures, but I have to have it with me. So I've just always taken photographs of the young people breakdancing, or you know, I don't usually focus much on the DJs or performers really any place. I'm way more about the crowds. I'm way more about the people, and at the Tech Fest, I'm right in the middle of it. So that's what I'm going to take pictures of. I'm going to take pictures of the people who are right there with me. And I do like close up. I mean, you know, that's kind of my deal. As a photographer, generally you're standing back from something. And in a way, I generally like candid shots. I'll do a few poses, but I like candid shots. I'm more of a street photographer type. And so, in a way, you want to be invisible. You want to be a fly on the wall. I am not a fly on the wall at Tech Fest. There is no way that is the way you describe me. It is bizarre, but I have become a celebrity. It's very strange. And so there are the moments, it doesn't happen that often, but there are the moments that I'm seeing a shot that I really, really want. And then a kid will come up, you know, oh, Grandma Techno, can we take your picture? You know, and occasionally, not often, occasionally, I need to say, in a minute, you know, let me just get this shot. It's this both and thing that I'm subject, in a way I'm subject and documenter, because I'm living it as well as, and I guess I would say that in relation to, I'm not a pure documentary photographer. I really like being right in the middle of things. I always have. I mean, and in a way, the camera gives me permission to do that. Now, festival, I don't need to worry about it. I'm in the middle of things anyway. But other times, you know, the camera can be a way to kind of get in the middle of things. And a lot of people are real happy to see cameras. Some people aren't. That is another nice thing about Tech Fest. The kids love to have their picture taken. I've never, ever encountered anyone at the Tech Fest who didn't want me to be taking their picture. When I think about Tech Fest, I love the music. I do, I love the music, love to dance. I love Hart Plaza, I love Detroit, downtown Detroit, just the energy down there. It's marvelous. People from out of town, all the techies who come to the festival, they love Detroit. In fact, they talk about coming to 313, which is our area code. It's like a thing in the tech world. They say, hey, I'm going to 313, you going? You know, that kind of thing. The energy of these kids, I mean, I know for parents, it's tough having kids who love electronic music because it's loud and it does have the big thump thump. And so, you know, if it's in your own house, it can get to be a real hassle, and I can relate to that. But these are the most gentle-spirited young people on the planet, in my view. They're kind of a kickoff of the old 60s crowd. It's all about love and peace. I mean, they give me their candy, their bracelets that they've made, and so many of them, if they have words on them, it's all about love and peace and life and energy, and you know, that's who they are. So, for instance, in my 8 years there, I have never once seen a fight. Never once. Have I even seen anything that was close to a fight? I mean, that's pretty unusual because, like this last year, 2012, there were 100,000 people there, and all kinds of people. Great diversity, and people come from all over the world. It's one of, well, coming to Detroit is like coming to Mecca for an electronic music lover, because it is the home of house and techno. And you know, I always meet people from Japan, actually, always. Germany, UK, you know, Italy, France. I mean, lots of people from all over the world. Young people generally like me, and it may be just partly because I like them so much, wherever I go. I mean, that's, you know, and kids, God, I'm eye level to an 11-year-old, so, you know, I'm certainly not intimidating, that's for sure. But I think also maybe my energy, You know, I never grew up. I never grew up. I never got old. I mean, my body got old, but my energy has never gotten old. And I guess, you know, I'm 70 years old now, so I guess I'm not going to get old. You know, when you're young, you never think about your legacy. I mean, you think about the moment, you maybe think about 5 or 10 years ahead. At this age, at 70, I have come to a time of thinking about my legacy. And I'm not going to have a tombstone. I just sort of figure, let's scatter my ashes someplace in the city, or, you know, Detroit River or Belle Isle or wherever. But if I were to have people remember me, and I kind of hope they will, I would want the legacy to be a model of living life to the fullest. And living life to the fullest no matter what. I mean, you know, yes, I'm old in years. Yes, I'm disabled in a scooter. But man, it doesn't stop me. And I guess that's the legacy I'd love to leave, that no matter what happens in your life, you continue to take joy in the moment and continue to push the envelope, continue to think outside any boxes, and just be yourself. Be totally yourself without too much concern about what other people think. You want to think of other people. You want to try to be kind as best you can. But in terms of reputation or, I don't know, people approving of what you do, give it up. Give it up. Life's too short for that. So my legacy would be live life to the full. And that's all.